I'm one to do on days. And the question is, should you publish a blog post daily? A lot of bloggers advise to publish content daily because doing so can increase your blog traffic. You could gain exposure by publishing posts daily. There are benefits to being prolific, but I'm here to tell you, what's up, dog? What's up, Ron? Today, you should not publish posts daily necessarily unless it feels really good, enjoyable, relaxing, and unless you feel clear that the content is very detailed, in-depth, helpful, enriching. You have so many bloggers, guys, that publish daily, not because they enjoy it, not because they love writing, not because they're publishing really in-depth, detailed content, whether it's SEO optimized or not because they feel really good about it and they feel really clear and confident and they feel accomplished is the right word. But none of those reasons, those are none of the reasons. However, Nazir wants to be in your video. Really? Why? Why do you want to be in my video, Nazir? I'm just having fun with you. Should you publish blog content daily? I'm talking about all these different reasons, but ultimately you have to ask yourself, does it feel really good, relaxing, rewarding? You're publishing content that is detailed, that's in depth. I'm talking 1,500, 2,000 words or longer. Is it filled with practical tips? Most importantly, do you feel really good about it? Now, most bloggers shouldn't publish content daily because they don't feel really good about it. They publish content not for all these high energy reasons, but because they're afraid, fear being their driver, hey, Andrew, that if they don't publish content, that they're going to lose, that they'll fail. Or they get into the fear of, I need to publish, desperation, deep down. I need to publish all this blog content to be successful, to outwork everybody. As long as your mind chooses fear as the driver, as long as you're listening to the ego, you'll be in trouble because everything out there is just a projection of your mind. So you have to get really clear, guys, and say to yourself, in most cases, no, do not publish content daily. Don't work off a posting schedule. Because even though in the past I advised it, and even though sometimes I go through these stretches where I do publish posts daily, I'm getting clear on just enjoying the process. And each time I publish a post, I tap the publish button. I'm making sure that I have really fun doing this. It's enjoyable. It feels relaxing. And I'm just being abundant with it, like letting go 1,500, 2,000 words. And it's not even the word count, and it's not even that the posts are filled with practical tips or that they're from the heart. It's just that I'm enjoying it more. And I realize whether I publish a post today or I do not, and whenever the next time I publish a post goes live. No, I'm just joking, Nazir. Don't worry about it, buddy. It just has to feel good. That's what you have to ask yourself before you publish content. Now, on a worldly level, as a blogging tips blogger, I know a lot of you guys blog about blogging tips. The posts, even though it is in your mind, it's all your clarity. The posts that tend to rocket out, cool, Andrew, that tend to gain more traction just from my experience and from a lot of bloggers out there are going to be 1,500 words to 2,000 words, maybe even 2,500. Now, it's not about tying to those outcomes, but if you see and you pay really close attention to bloggers that really enjoy the process, they take their time, they're relaxed about it, they're going to be hitting the mark with these word lengths. Like in almost every case, they're not going to write a 500 or 600 or 7-word post. Those are the posts, those longer form posts Again, on a worldly level, for most of us, it just feels better. Now, if it feels like hard work, no, you don't want to go into that real tension, stress-filled type energy. But those type of posts take usually a number of hours to write, to proofread, maybe do an edit or two. So that's not the type of thing you're going to be doing on a daily basis. And that's cool, because one post that's 1,500 words or 2,000 that felt really good to write, you felt really clear on it, that you optimized maybe for SEO, or maybe didn't even optimize it, but it'll still rank on Google because it really hit the mark. That's going to not only in your mind feel good from just the mental science aspect of it to you, those are the posts that are going to hit the mark and are going to drive a lot more traffic. It'll be passive traffic, targeted traffic. Organically, they'll keep helping you succeed passively. The content itself will do what it does, as opposed to for this week trying to write and publish a 600-word post every day. That doesn't get the organic traffic, doesn't get the Google traffic. Now, it's not about word counts or strategy. It's always about what's in your mind. However, on a worldly level, most bloggers, from what I've seen, myself included, when you feel good about writing and publishing content that's detailed, that's in depth, and we usually tend to think 1,300, 1,500, 2,000 words, maybe a bit more. When you feel good about it and you feel like, man, I published something that's very helpful, that's going to reflect back to you as increased traffic, positive feedback. It's going to be very difficult to publish these type of posts daily. So when you're thinking about it, you're like, do I need to publish posts daily? Definitely you don't need to, but do I want to? Probably not. Does it feel really good? Probably not. Even if you could really write and you're super prolific, trying to publish, feel good in your mind about publishing a 1,500 word post, 2,000 word post every single day, even if you're not optimizing for SEO, that feels detailed and from the heart and from, in the flow, it's going to be really difficult, just very, very uncomfortable. So no, you don't have to publish posts daily. Google doesn't demand that you publish posts daily. The real point here that you have to focus on heavily, guys, is creating something that's detailed, that's in depth, that has some depth, that's very helpful, and that sufficiently answers the blog post title that you choose. So if that's every day, great. But in most cases, almost all cases, not going to be. If it's weekly, great. Because over that week, the people that come to your blog, when they see your latest post or your latest few posts are in-depth, detailed, generous, you're covering your core topic, your one topic, that's going to do so much more for your traffic, for your business, for referral business, for your success than publishing a post every day over the course of the week that's 600 words and forced, and you're trying to just hit a posting schedule. And there's something to be said too for allowing content to drive traffic organically based on your skills, based on the quote unquote merit of the content. Now, by that, I mean, if the content's really good and you let it marinate for a few days and you publish a post and it sits there for 2-3 days, as more people come to your blog and see it, they're going to be impressed and promote it through their social channels and maybe through their blog, and they could even email it to their list, which will boost your organic traffic substantially, exponentially over the long haul. However, if you're just publishing thin posts that don't feel good, in most cases they don't feel good for us, 600, 700 words just to complete a posting schedule, you're not going to get that organic traffic. Readers will look at a post and they'll say, okay, 600 words, looks pretty helpful. Yeah, they made a good point, but they're not going to share it to their list. They're not going to link to it via their latest post. They're not going to tweet it, or they may tweet it, but there's not a lot of traction there. You're not going to get that strong organic traffic. And it's not so much about doing a good job as it is getting clear in your mind. I'm just going to publish a post if it feels good to write something in depth. When you do that, whether it's once a week, once every week and a half, once every 2 weeks, you're going to find that one piece of content that just sits there. Maybe you do some promoting. Hey, Linda, good evening. Will generate a lot more quote unquote worldly success for you, but ultimately it's because you feel clearer on it. You feel better about it. So the Google traffic and organic traffic and referral traffic and any business benefits, nailing down clients, gaining clients, I should say. That happens when you get clear. And we talk about the quality versus quantity. You can kind of have both if you really think about it, but get out of these concepts of quality, even though you're kind of thinking about it, and just think, what feels really, really good? What do I feel really clear on? Writing and publishing. And for most of us, what we get clear on, guys, is going to be these more in-depth posts, just organically. We just feel better. Like, I'm going to let my content go, let it ride. Go more in depth with this post. Think more in depth. Think more details. Think of the blog post title and think about, how could I really flesh this out and cover it from a number of different angles? And unless you're Hemingway doing it in 600 words, I mean, depending on the topic, but for most of the topics that people are just craving and wanting, especially in the blogging tips niche, you're going to have to drill down, and that will take a few thousand words or 1,500, which is fine because you don't need to publish a post tomorrow. Publish the content, let it ride. You'll share it in some spots and you meet some new people, but have fun with it. Base your posting schedule on when it feels good and fun, and when you feel clear on publishing something that's 1,000, really 1,500, 2,000 words. But in the same regard, guys, don't get tied and say it needs to be 15, because again, in your mind, if you think need, that's fear. If you're desperate, if you think, oh, I need this outcome, and that fear creates tension, which will create a low quality post. People fill posts with bloat, meaning they're just adding words that don't need to be there. So pump on your brakes and just relax. And the more you relax as you create the content, you're going to find that it's much easier to stick, not to a posting schedule, but to create content when it feels good. And organically, for most of us guys, some people can get clear on the shorter posts, but it's just something worldly. I've observed with my experience and other bloggers, you'll see they'll go more in depth, but it doesn't mean 3,000 words or 3,500 or some pillar style. Now, if that feels amazing, go for it. It feels amazing to you. But of course, that's the type of post you'll just publish once a week or maybe even once a month in some cases. So don't think new content. Don't think posting schedule. Do you need to post daily? Absolutely not. You'll see that a lot of bloggers that have a lot of worldly success and that really do enjoy it and have a passion for it, they do not post daily. But every time they post, they're having fun, they're adding a lot of details, they're going very in depth. And when you look at the blog post title that they're covering, that's the promise, the delivery of the content. That's the promise, is the title. The content they deliver, they do deliver, is very in depth. There's details there. They really flesh it out. And you're going to find that's really common. That's almost across the board. Thanks, Linda. Have a good day. Have a good evening. Across the board, you'll find that that's what these bloggers do as far as going in depth, and it just feels good in their minds and all of our minds. We feel clear on it. We feel better about it. And the better you feel in your mind about blogging or anything you're doing in life, your experience will improve, your quote unquote human experience, because everything is in your mind. So guys, should you post daily? In most cases, no. If it feels absolutely amazing and you feel really good and you feel relaxed about it, you can. It's really all in your mind. But based on my observation and my experience, the more you just relax and pull back and say, I'm going to publish something that feels good, it feels enjoyable, it feels fun, and I'm going to add, I pick this title, I'm going to add those details and deliver on that promise and really flesh it out. Add steps and practical tips if that's your thing. I mean, for the blogging tips niche, it's going to happen, or even mindset stuff. Really get into the mindset and sharing my experience. Those posts are going to be 1,500 words, maybe 2,000. It could go up to 2,500. When you get into that realm, even if you could write quickly and skillfully, which is cool, you're going to be pulling back on posting schedule. you really want to step out of this idea, guys, that you have to post daily, that you need to post daily. So many bloggers share the meme from this energy of fear in their mind, from this intent of fear, and they share the advice. And, I spread it myself for a while without thinking about, why are you publishing posts daily? Are these posts gaining any traction? And I was looking back through my blog, and a lot of posts I published, they did not gain much traction. And it was because they weren't published from that clear space. So I deleted them. Holy Spirit says delete them. Spirit says delete them. Get rid of them. You'll feel better. And I felt better immediately. And of course, my whole body of work with my blog. What are you sorry about? Hey, look at your stomach. You got lint. Don't disturb me. You never disturb me. You haven't disturbed me yet. It's my wife, Kelly, of livelifemadeorder.com. Please visit her blog. I'm blogging from paradise.com, by the way, guys, in case you didn't know. I think you guys know, right? I think Linda knows. I think Andrew knows. I know Ram knows. Nazir knows. And my friend in Lao knows. Wish I could speak Laotian. Is it Laotian? Lao? The letters are so different. It reminds me of Thai. When you see the letters and it's like, wow. It's like, wow. This dog, 5-strip. Little Curb Your Enthusiasm joke here, guys. So that's it for today. Today's a travel day. Kelly and I will be heading, no, I wouldn't say that down here, deeper into the South, where people live and let live. Wink, wink. So that's going to be enjoyable. We'll be heading into South Carolina. Where's he from? Is he from South Carolina? From House of Cards? The Ribs? Forget if he's from South Carolina. Am I even allowed to mention his name? So anyway, guys, we're going to be heading farther south. So I want to do this video, simulcast it. We got Facebook, we got YouTube, a little anchor deal here. And thanks so much for all the podcast listens, guys. It's taking off a lot more. I had a lot of episodes out there, and they weren't generating too many listens, but now some of the latest ones have been 50, 70, 80. So obviously I'm starting to get some real traction because I have like 500 plus episodes. You guys are really responding well. My recent one was like 75. And obviously that's pretty sweet for having, I think it's 502 episodes now. So those are going up into the, collectively, well, I don't have it in front of me, tens of thousands. And it's going to keep going higher and higher. And I feel good about it and I appreciate it. You guys are speaking to me, you're listening. So I'm going to keep them coming. And I'll keep the videos coming as well. But you don't have to publish posts daily, guys. You don't. And you don't want to set a posting schedule. I know a lot of bloggers say it, but it comes too much from force. So if it feels amazing, do it, but you have to be really honest with yourself. And like myself too, even though I could publish more in-depth content because I love to write and I enjoy it, it's pulling back and saying, why am I doing it? And there's something to be said, guys, for letting your content ride when it feels really good to have published the post, added a number of details, maybe some practical tips, maybe, of course, practical tips and steps. So it felt really good to do it. But then you want to say to yourself, well, am I just in this mad dash to, hey, FS, to publish posts every single day? Or do I want to sit there and let that content ride for a bit and just let it do what it does? And organically, as people come across my blog and find the content, really be not so much impressed by the content, but just enjoy it and say, man, this is really helpful. There's a lot of details here. Couple thousand words, and you'll feel better about it. You'll see these posts will get a lot more attention and they'll be spread far and wide because you weren't in a rush to publish the next post, but you allowed each post to get the attention it deserves based on the merit of the post itself. It's almost like it builds your blog passively, but you have to have the proper mindset. And I'm still cultivating this mindset 14, 15 years into my blogging career. And that's the beauty of this journey, guys, with blogging. Like you see in your mind, like, okay, maybe I'm doing something too much from fear or heavily from fear or a little bit from fear, when I could develop, face my fears in my mind and develop more posture and get more clear on just sharing helpful content, publishing a post and letting it grow organically, allowing people to see it and to share it and allowing your business to go through the post. to grow through the post and to go. And if you'll notice my blog too, guys, definitely paring a lot down recently. Spirit gave me a number of very clear instructions that I honored immediately. You'll see the sidebar is now my latest post, or no, most popular posts. I have related posts below the post. I've had that for a while. And it's the most popular post based on shares that are obviously getting feedback. So they're there for you guys to enjoy and read. And it's just paring it down because it's that intuitive gut pull that we're all privy to, but we just allow the ego to call the shots. And I wanted to talk about this blog posting schedule. Should you publish posts daily? Because for me and for a lot of bloggers, it's been a problem. It was a problem just thinking, okay, publish a post daily, do something. And it's not about putting more content out there, because it could be good. A 600-word post, 700-word post that you publish daily could be good and somewhat helpful, which is solid. But if you don't feel good about it, it's not going to make an impact. And when you see the many, many millions and tens of millions of posts that are just, pretty good and okay, and they're not making any impact, not getting any traffic, you're seeing bloggers that don't have the clarity in their mind. And it's not about publishing content. It's about not even so much publishing great content, but feeling really good about putting something out there that you feel clear on. And I just like adding the word count, guys, because most bloggers, just from experience and just I know how we are, we reach 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 plus words, and it feels abundant in your mind. You're like, man, I feel good about this. It feels like a job well done. You added details. And you're going to find that Google likes these posts and your readers like these posts. And some prefer the shorter. Don't get me wrong. They'll prefer, but predominantly most of us, we just feel clear on relaxing, taking our time. Writing and publishing posts should be a peaceful, relaxing process. If you're adding all this tension in your mind, it'll go to custard. And when you stick to some daily posting schedule, and you're like, or you try to stick to it, you're thinking, I have to get a piece of content out there. The web's not looking, human beings are not looking for another piece of good content. Google's not looking for another piece of good content. And I'm talking 600, 700, 800 words. It's like forced and pushed. The world, the web, they're looking for great content. And when you relax and take your time and you're not publishing posts daily, but maybe it feels good to publish an in-depth post every 3 days or every 5 days, you're going to find that those posts are going to gain the traction on Google. I know a lot of bloggers, a number of them don't even optimize their posts, and they do really well on Google. It's because Google ultimately ranks your blog, ranks your posts if you're helping people and you're delivering on your title promise with beefy content where you're letting it ride. You're being generous. You're not holding back. That's going to happen when your mind is in this more abundant space. And your mind's going to be in a much more abundant space when you say, forget the posting schedule. I'm just going to post content when it feels good, when I feel clear on it. And you're going to feel good when it's more in depth, when you're adding those details and steps and you flesh it out. Because you'll see that title promise and you'll be like, oh, I did deliver on that. I went in depth. Google's going to like it. Your readers are going to like it. Some may like the shorter posts, but ultimately you'll feel clearer in your mind, and you'll see as you publish these type of posts, then you're going to pull back on your posting schedule. You're going to pump the brakes. It's just that way with every single blogger. I haven't seen a blogger yet that's putting out 1,500 to 2,000, 2,500 word posts. I mean, there could be out there on a daily basis, and that's enjoying it so much where these posts are just rocketing to the top of Google. Because you'll see guys like Neil Patel and Brian Dean. Those two were kind of the search engine wizards, the kings of search traffic. They're not putting out every single day a 2,500, 3,000 word post. And a lot of their posts that rank, like when you see that one post that Neil published years ago, and I know he's updated it, but how this blog makes whatever, $3,800 a month. I mean, it just keeps ranking and ranking for all these different ultra hyper competitive keywords. And he went in depth, published a really in-depth, solid piece of content, a great piece of content, and he wasn't in a rush to publish a post the next day or 5 hours. And it was like, do a really, really in-depth, good job, great job, flesh it out, deliver on the title promise, like really add those details. And of course, you have to get clear in your mind, but in most cases, you'll feel so much better about the content. And then from there, feeling better about it in your mind that will be the reward in and of itself. But then you'll understand that, okay, feeling better in my mind projects emanate vibe, that really, really good feeling, abundant vibe out to the universe. And then you'll experience more worldly success. But ultimately, it's not about that. It's about feeling good about the process. So guys, pull back on the posting schedule. I would say publish a post, not every day, but when you feel really good and clear on publishing something in depth. Jeff, I do. I run a blog, which is a news portal. So if I took the date off the post, people would have no idea when I published it. And if people have no idea when you published your content, and since it's a news portal, you could run into some issues. The only exception would be, Jeff, is if you update your posts every single day. So if you want to go back and update 10 posts, 20, 50, 100, but it's difficult because when people don't see a date, and again, we have to go with what works for us. So obviously feel free not to date it. But when people don't see a date and then they see somebody mention Google Plus, they're going to be like, whoa, wow. And they'll really be like, oh, this person is mentioning Google Plus. That site shut down years ago. And I don't know if I really trust this site if they're not even up. But what date? It's up to you, though, because in some niches, ultimately, Jeff, you may find, I'm going a little off topic, but I'm talking about publishing posts daily. It's somewhat it's a little tangential, but it's somewhat related to the blog post topic, or the video topic, I should say. Maybe I'll turn this into blog post too. I think I already have, but I'll flesh that out. People read content with this sense of context. So they'll say, this is the date, this is the content. Now, maybe it's a niche where there's absolutely no relevance between the date and the content, but I am a blogging tips blogger at bloggingfromparadise.com, Jeff. So we go heavily we publish evergreen content for sure, but we really want to keep those dates attached unless I want to update content on a daily basis or a weekly basis, really, really update it. Because search is changing. The world is changing. Strategies change. So this way the readers could look at the date. So they'll see today, Ryan, like yesterday, I published a post. Ryan published this post on January 21st, 2022. And all the content, since I published it yesterday, it was actually an old post that I updated. But I think I deleted all the content from the old post. Then they know, okay, January 21st, 2022, this is the content that's relevant that day. But I will keep in mind that if I update it, of course, I'll just republish it because I add the content. But at least people, if they come across it 6 months from now and I haven't updated it, and there's some of it that's dated, when they look at that date and it says January, say in July, people at Google have made some changes. There's been some decent changes in blogging. When they see January 21st, 2022, Jeff, then if the post is a little dated as far as the content, then you look at the date and you're like, oh, he hasn't updated it since then. So that keeps the trust intact and the credibility. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like, okay, this is what he published back then. That's okay. That's okay. However, if there's no date on the post and people have no idea as far as context, like when did he publish this? There's no date and they see dated content, then you have a serious credibility problem. So as an example, let's go back to 2014 when the death knell for guest posting for links, Matt Cutts' famous update, right? If I didn't include a date and I published content prior to that, and I said, hey, guest posting for links is really super duper great way to prosper. I prospered through that, through different blogs. That's how it's done back then. And then Matt Cutts got rid of that. If people came across my blog and there was no date on my posts and I said, guest posting for links is the way to go. And it was after that, whenever it was in 2014, that date that Matt Cutts issued the death knell for guest posting for links. And then people are going to read the content, see no date and say that. And I'm going to be saying, oh yeah, guest posting for links. I published that content. There's no date on my blog. Then people are going to say, oh boy, I don't trust this guy. This guy's not credible. So that's something to think about, Jeff, with the date. And I decided to go a little tangential there because it is somewhat related to publishing daily. and publishing posts and thinking about that. So guys, I'm going to roll. We're about a half hour in. Oh, wow. Anchor's done. It's just recording. It only goes like half hour, I think, but I don't go longer than a half hour anyway. Those are the ones that get the most listens. So thank you so much, guys. Saknarin, Jeff, Linda, Andrew, Nazir, Ram. Much love all. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to share it with your friends on Facebook. You could hit the share button. You know any bloggers out there that are struggling with this question? Ditto for YouTube. And of course, Anchor's recording now. But I'll gussy these up a little bit and share it. And we'll be hitting the road in a little bit, heading deeper south from, we're in Charlotte now. We just had a nice 10-day house sit, very enjoyable. Views high above the city. This is the highest, tallest high rise between New York and Miami, which is pretty cool. So heading deeper south, South Carolina. We'll be there for a few days doing a rental, and then we'll head to our next house sit, not too far from the Georgia state line, and that'll be fun too. Just getting into a little bit of warmer weather, even though it's a cold spell down here, which is pretty rare. So much love, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. See you later. YouTube, I'll share you out, and I will see you later. Facebook. Until next time, you know what to do. Enjoy paradise.